Well, you guys, LongHaul Larry, and I am up here in Green Bay, Wisconsin. When I was leaving the shop, I had a load. I said something about that I had to run down to Harrisonburg, Virginia, and pick up a load, and that was going to be going to Wisconsin or something like that. I didn't video it all because I had a situation, and I got pretty worked up. I got a bit angry about something, and I don't really think it's good to do that while to go out on the social media while you're angry like that. Maybe take some time and go back and look at it and, and contemplate about it. But the load that I just hauled back to Wisconsin actually was illegal. And it can be made not illegal pretty easily, but it wasn't. But I fixed it, so it was fine. I'll get into that in a second. I'm going to tell you that I've been on a little bit of high stress lately. I've had some stuff that's been just happening and going on. A couple things at work, it's whatever. Just natural things or whatever. Things are going on. But then I've had some issues dealing with the government people, with the state of Michigan, with my property up there. I kind of went into a brief explanation about that in the last video. And dealing with that stuff, and that really has thrown a wrench in with some of my plans. It's not going to be a thing that's going to last forever, but it kind of messed it up for this year. And I'm going to tell you that it's thrown a wrench in fixing that house up on the outside and making the outside as beautiful as what the inside is. And I'm going to tell you that it bothers me going up to that house and it looks the way it is. I do not like owning it and it looking like that. But right now there's nothing I can do about it. But so I got to get all that worked out and stuff. And then if you guys have been watching me for a long time, I've actually used to talk about this YouTube channel and stuff and being kind of like a community and stuff. And I used to watch this guy called Wrangle Star. I haven't watched him for a long time. I got so busy I can't keep up the YouTube channels and doing everything I'm doing. But I really liked that guy. I liked the way what he stood for and what he was about and everything. And he did a modern homesteading type thing. And I really thought he had a very successful channel and he did well at it. And I'm going to tell you right now, the whole I'm a Tool trophy thing that I gave out to that subscriber, that's where I got that from. Because he has people that come after him all the time because of his beliefs and everything else and say negative things and bad things to him. And so he used to do something like that. He used to do like once a month, he used to get one of those things out. And I always thought that was the funniest thing ever. And I'm like, good for him. Stand up for yourself, You don't need to sit here and take it from everybody. But he has a thing out, I think it's out in Idaho. I don't even know where it is at, actually. But it's out west someplace, and he has a big piece of property, and he has been very successful on YouTube, and he's built his whole thing up to what it is. He does projects all around there and stuff. And what he started doing is with the YouTube community, he used to do like a once-a-year thing with subscribers where you could bring tents or campers or whatever, and you can come out and camp out on his land, and he would have this big kind of deal, get together, and then you would have a meal together and stuff and hang out for a weekend or whatever. And then he would usually put together some kind of like project of fixing up a certain area or something, or building some bridges or doing something that everybody could kind of chip in and be part of, the building in a place. I guess I'm not going to be getting called into the door. I know I only got a couple pallets and my appointment is actually it's actually in 12 minutes. But, and he used to have that thing, and I thought that was really cool. And I would like to do something. And I talked about at the beginning that I was looking for land up north, and I would like to develop something like this and have things like this. And that's kind of what the pool puddle party was about, was to give you guys an opportunity to come out and hang out and just, hang out together and stuff. And we're going to be doing that again very soon. It's going to be warmer this year. But um, we're going to and I've been looking at this and stuff, and I've been looking at all kinds of different property, and I'm going to tell you, it's been really hard ever since this COVID thing started. It's been really hard to even get a hold of anybody up there. Nobody wants to talk to you up there. Nobody returns phone calls. It's really harsh. And now the housing, everything that's just junk is just selling for crazy prices. It's really gone up. And I have been after a piece of property. And I'm going to tell you that it was dealing with the state of Michigan. And it's a piece of property that me and my brother have looked at for many years going, man, I wish that place was for sale. It's in the best location. And then us, and boom, a for sale sign up went up. I started emailing and calling this person. I would email them twice a day, and I would call and leave messages 3 times a day for months, trying to get somebody to return my phone call. And one time I was me and Tracy were in the pickup truck, and we were getting ready to go someplace, and it was like noon. And I looked at her and I said, oh, it's time to do my midday call. And I hit the call. I had the button right on there, speed dial. I just hit the button, and it was going and stuff, and it was ringing, and I was sitting here talking to Tracy sitting next to me. I was waiting for the answer machine thing to come up. And then I was saying, hello? And I was like, it shocked me. And I'm like, don't hang up. And I'm like, I have been trying to get a hold of you forever. I've sent you so many messages. And she's like, well, what are you looking for? And I'm like, this property, it's up in Michigan, and I'm telling about. And she's all like, oh, I'm sorry that we just accepted an offer on that. Man, I was so mad. And then, but then she was like, well, if he backs out, you could put a secondary bid on it, and you'd be next in line. Well, I had to send in a bunch of money. I had to put in a bid and send money in. And I did it. And I thought it was worth it. Everybody's like, man, how are you going to get your money back from the state? And I was up there the last time, and I was talking to one of the neighbors about different land for sale up there and stuff. We were talking about things. And then he said, well, he goes, you should buy that place. He goes, I heard it's for sale. It's like $70,000. And I'm like, it better not be, because I have a bid on that. And nobody's ever contacted me. I've sent a bunch of emails like, what's happening? Where's, if you sold it, where's my money back? And so I drove over there, and sure enough, the sign was still up. So I started calling and emailing again like crazy. And finally I sent an email after days of this, and I said, listen, I am going to bother you to the end of the world. All you have to do is respond. And like 5 minutes later, I got an email back. It was, it's so bad, And I got this email back, and it says, oh, the person that had to bid on it last fall ended up dropping out and did not buy it and stuff, but I do not see any bid by you or anything like this. And we have accepted another offer for it, and we also have another person that has done a backup bid on that. It's been a lot of stress. Guys, you don't even know. I'm not even going to get into it right now, because maybe there's a possibility it could still happen. But you guys don't even know this place. It would be crazy. You just don't even know. It would be a compound. It had everything. I'm not kidding you. The possibilities were unbelievable. And it has been an up and down thing now, and people are telling me I should get a lawyer and all this stuff. I am not a sue-happy person. And I would rather just get my money back, and I'm kind of just waiting for somebody to show up in the property and tell you the truth, and I'll go up to them instead of dealing with the state all over this again. And I'll just rather show up to them and say, listen, dude, I'll give you X amount of dollars for this thing. I know you paid this. I'll give you this much over without even you touching it, and seeing if they'll accept it. So I don't know. It's just an up and down roller coaster. So I've had a lot of stress and some other things. And I went into U.S. Foods, and I never been there before. And I pulled up in there, and there was about 35 doors, and there was 2 trucks in all the doors. And I was coming by the place, and I was like, maybe I'll get in. Maybe they'll load me early. That'd be cool, because then I was going to be able to take off and run. and I'd be able to shut down decent and actually take, good timing off. And I was thinking I would be able to work on some of the electrical stuff that I want to finish in this truck. I'm trying to wire the whole truck up to 110. And so that was my plan. And I went in there, and you had to fill out this check-in sheet. And the check-in sheet was crazy. It was asking me, on your check-in number, your destination where you're going, all your information and everything. And then it also wanted your gross empty weight of your trailer. I've never seen that before in all years of trucking. I've never seen it. I've seen empty gross weight, but that's a truck in the trailer. It's how much weight can you haul is basically the question is. But I've never seen it of just a trailer, because what difference does that make? So I thought it was a little bit weird, and I filled the paperwork out and I handed it to the lady, and she messed around and she's like, "You're really early for your appointment." And I said, "Yes, I know." And she's like, "Okay, well, you have to go park down on the bottom lot, and we'll give you a call when we have an open door." Now, I didn't say anything to her, but I wanted to say, you have about 33 open doors out there, because they only had 2 trucks and all these doors. But okay, whatever. So I figured it was either going to be I could get in early or I'd have to wait, and then I would just do another breakdown there, do like a split shift or something like that, and then take off. So I pulled down there and I decided to go to sleep. And so I went down there in this lot, I went to sleep. And I set an alarm for 2 o'clock just in case they didn't call me. I got up at 2, still no phone call. So I walked back up there and I'm like, "Hey, listen, I had a 2 o'clock appointment. Nobody's calling me. I've been sitting down there waiting all morning." And she is messing around. Then she grabs a walkie-talkie, and she's talking to somebody in the back. "Yeah, the 2 o'clock is here. Do we have a door for this guy or not?" And I'm thinking, I've been here for a long time already. And they started talking about something they did on the weekend. These 2 people over the radio. They were having a conversation for about 15 minutes. And I stood there the whole time, didn't say a word, and I was just thinking, seriously, come on, let's go. And finally she goes, "Okay, yeah, hey, but what about this 2 o'clock? You got a door?" I think I keep moving. I think it keeps making the picture dark because I keep cutting the sunlight off. And the guy was like, "Oh, yeah, have him going to 24. So I said, and she got out their walkie-talkie thing. She goes, "Okay, yeah, go into 24 and slide your tandems." And I says, and she goes, "And set your reefer to a -10. I said, "It's been running all morning." I said, "I've been sitting down here waiting." I said, "So it's already pre-cooled." I says, "Can I open up?" And she goes, "No." She goes, "Leave your doors closed until somebody comes out and opens them, checks your temperature." It's like, whatever. So I went out there. This is a 2 o'clock appointment. So I went out and I backed up to the door and I sat there. I sat there and I sat there, waiting for somebody to come out there and open my doors. I sat there till 5 o'clock. Finally, I was like, okay, this is going to be a long time. So I actually went on to DoorDash and I ordered some dinner. Had them delivered right to me. Guy came, delivered my dinner. Sat there eating my dinner. As I'm eating my dinner, I could see all the people, the shift leaving. So I knew it was a shift change. And I thought, okay, whatever. They're pushing me off first shift on the second. These guys will come in. I'll get it. And in this meantime, those 2 trucks had left, and there was me and maybe 2 more that had showed up and backed up in the doors. I sat there and waited. Finally, about 7 o'clock, somebody came out there, checked my temperature. "Okay, you're good to open your doors." I'm like, yeah, I was good like 5 hours ago, dude. I didn't say none, but I just held my tongue. But this is all in that long haul Larry doesn't like dealing with stupid people. And a lot of distribution places have a lot of that. And so I backed up into the door, set everything, put the chalks on there, and I crawled in the back and just went to sleep. And it's a U.S. food, so they're going to come out, they're going to knock on my door, probably want to seal me. So I went to sleep. 10 o'clock, I think it was a quarter after 10, I finally get a knock on the door. I get up, look down there. Guy's like, "Yep, you're all good to go. He goes, go pull up to the office. They got your paperwork up there. I'm like, all right. So I pulled up to the office. I'm looking at the clock going, this is ridiculous how long I've been here. I mean, I've been here for a whole day. Almost 20 hours I'm talking. And it wasn't that long, I'm sorry. It was 15 hours. And I wasn't in a very good mood, I gotta say. And that's why I was saying before, I've had a lot of stressful things and stuff, and I kind of let this set me off. But I walked in, and I was thinking I was just gonna make a comment. That, is it usually like this to load? That's all I was gonna say, because I've been sitting here, I've been at this facility for 15 hours. And I walked in, and there was a woman sitting back behind their little glass wall and everything. Their little hole cut in there. And she had her phone sitting out, hooked up to a Wi-Fi speaker, just blaring music. I mean, real loud. Just sitting in there. And I walked up, and she looked at me, and she mumbled something. I couldn't hear what she said. And I kind of put my mouth up by the hole, and I said, door 24. And then she started messing around with some paperwork. And she put a piece of paper out by me, and there was a little hole that was in the bottom of... There was a little hole that was in the bottom of the glass. Right? Oh, there's my phone call. All right, guys, I had to back into a door here to get loaded. But, so she slid a piece of paper out to me. And what it was, I didn't realize it at the moment, but it was my check-in sheet that I filled out. And she had taken the seal, and she had laid it on top of the paperwork, and then she photocopied it. And it was kind of all dark and stuff, but it had the seal on there, photocopied onto the piece of paper. And she slid it out and said, sign for your seal. And I always take my own pen in, so I don't have to use the pen everybody else is doing, is, virus stuff. And I sat there with my pen going, looking at it going, where do I sign it? And all of a sudden she goes like this at me. She goes, sign for your seal. And I'm going to tell you, I had a little switch. It just flipped when she did that at me. Because I was looking for the line where she wanted me to sign, where they had the seal number or something like this. And all of a sudden she just went like that to me, flipping it out at me, and sign for your seal. She yelled at me. And you know how John, I always say he's got kind of big eyes and stuff. When he gets really tired and stuff, his eyes kind of bug out more. This lady had John put to shame. She had these eyes that are just bam. I mean, they were just huge. And when she yelled like that, it was crazy. And I said, ma'am, you don't have to get hostile. I'm asking you a simple question, but you can't hear what I'm asking because your music is blaring so loud. I said, where on this piece of paper would you like me to sign? And then she pointed down and stamped her finger on it, on the seal. She said, initial next to it. It's like, whatever. So I initialed. And she took that back. Then she's sitting there, and if anybody's been to U.S. food, they know what they do. I think it's completely wrong. And what they do is they have a little keypad thing that you electronically sign with this fake pen. And a lot of places have this, but they have a screen up there that shows you your bill of lading, or it says on there your bill of lading, your pickup number, or your seal number, and your destination and stuff. It didn't have anything on there. And all of a sudden she yelled at me, and she's like, sign the keypad. And I looked over at it, and it had nothing on there. And I says, ma'am, I'm not going to sign this if I don't. I need to see the bills to make sure it's going to the right location. And it's not because John just hauled something. I've always done that. It's trucking. It's a number one rule. You're responsible. I remember when John did that or something, somebody left a comment and it irritated me. I read that comment. Somebody read a comment. It's not your fault because when you were back then, you were off duty, so that's not your fault. That's completely wrong. Okay, I am responsible for this truck, for this trailer, and any load in it, no matter if I'm off duty, on duty, sleeper berth, does not matter. Once I am operating this truck, I get into this truck to start work. I am responsible for everything that goes on in this truck until I pack back into my driveway. That's being a truck driver. And she just started screaming at me, just going off. And I was not happy with her and everything else. And I wasn't talking nice to her. But then she started blurting out that if I don't sign it, she's going to call the police. And I'm like, what in the world does this have to do with this? And I'm like, just show me the piece of paper that says that I'm going to such and such a place. Or show me the computer screen. You know? Finally, I was just like, I don't really care anymore because I knew I was getting worked up and I just wanted out of this situation. And I'm like, whatever. And I signed it. Then she went back there and got the papers and stuff when they printed, came out, and she slid them across through the little hole. And I knew it was not going to be good. I knew it wasn't. From dealing with this lady when I first got there and the way she was acting, I knew there was going to be a problem. So when she turned around, I actually turned on my recorder on my phone and set it on the countertop. And I have that recording.
I can read, ma'am.
And so that right there, I said, I can read, ma'am. And you can kind of hear the tone of my voice. I was not happy. And I says, and what it was she's pointing out and she's going, that's your destination. And I said, ma'am, I can read. And I sat there and I looked at it, and guess what the paper says? It says right here, it's going to Baltimore, Maryland. Consigned to and destination. Nothing about Wisconsin on there. And so I got upset. And I say on here, that is not where I'm going.
You have to take that up with your broker.
I'm going to Wisconsin.
That's what
I put the destination on my check-in paper.
When you checked in, you should have took that up with them. I do not.
Okay, no, right there. When I checked in, I should have took that up with them. I did. I filled out the form and put my destination on it. And I handed it to the lady, and the lady said, well, you're real early for your appointment, and we'll call you when we're ready, when we have a door for you. That was it. My destination was on a piece of paper. She didn't look at it and go, hey, your destination doesn't match up with what we have. Okay? So how am I supposed to take it up with the lady when she doesn't let me know that it's different than what she has? And I tried to explain this to her, and this woman is just freaking out. Okay? And I'm just getting so frustrated trying to deal with stupid. And so it gets worse.
I do not know. That's all we have.
I just said this to you, and I checked in. Ma'am, I checked in on a piece of paper.
Call your broker and pick it up with your broker. I cannot change anything.
You think I'm going to Maryland?
That's what we have.
Look at my check-in piece of paper.
That you should have asked.
The form that I...
This is where I'm trying to get her to look at the check-in piece of paper. And what I didn't realize was the check-in piece of paper was that thing with the seal on it. It was all black and out. A lot of it you couldn't read. And so she flipped it over, and finally she kept going to, here's the pickup number and all that stuff. And she flipped it over, and I saw it, and I'm looking at it, and I'm trying to read the numbers, and there were so many different numbers that I was trying to get through. And reading the numbers, trying to compare them and stuff. Well, the numbers did match up. Okay? But then I'm pointing at it, and I'm going, right there, I wrote down, it says it's going to Oak Creek, Wisconsin. And she just would not listen whatsoever. And while we're doing this, she had this sheet. She pushed it out the hole, and she was pushing it like this, and I had turned it to read. because I'm old and I need to do it. And so I was holding it like this and I was trying to read it, and she had her hand up here in the corner. And I was holding it like this. And I was trying to read it, and I was turning it to the point to show her what I was talking about, like this. And she was on the other side of the glass doing this. And I had my hand right in the hole of the glass. And then that's where the next part comes in.
Okay, but the order that we have.
What does it say?
Okay, but the PO number that you gave us is for this here.
21224. What's that?
That's the number that you gave.
Where is my check-in form?
Okay, but there's your check-in number. Okay, that's
212104. That's a different number.
No, it's not. It's 21240.
Where does it say? Where does it say it's going to? Oak Creek, Wisconsin.
It doesn't matter,
ma'am.
This is my paperwork.
And she tries to steal the form back. And you heard me say this. And that's where I cut it off. I cut it off because I needed to take a photograph, and I knew it was going to be fast. I didn't cut it off to end the video or the recording and stuff. I didn't do that. I cut it off because I needed to get my camera on my phone real quick. But I had it like this, and she had it here, and my hand was kind of sitting through the glass. And she took her hand back, and she punched my hand. She just went like that on my hand. And I just went, oh no, you didn't. And so and she just started screaming at it, give me back my paperwork. Because she knew that it was screwed up, and that was my proof. And I just said, oh no, I'm taking this. And I pulled on the sheet, and I took it out. And is this it? No. I took it out, and I went snap. And I'll show the picture on here. You can see right on here. I typed on here, Oak Creek, Wisconsin. Going something Chewy's, it's called. It was like dog food or cat food or something like that. And so, and then she just started going, and then she just started screaming at the top of her voice, give me back my paperwork. And I said, ma'am, I'm taking a picture of this, so I have proof, and you can have your paperwork back. And I snapped it, and I put it back in there. She was about going through the glass. Started screaming at me and everything else. You better get out of here. I'm going to call the police and everything else. And I said, ma'am, you're the one who hit me. And I turned around and walked out. And I went out into the truck, and I called the boss. I never call the boss. Usually me and him would just text back and forth once a day or something, unless we have something that we're talking about, something that's going on. And I called him. He didn't answer. I called him right back. And the answer, he's like, what's up? And I said, listen, I'm at this place. And he was sending me messages in the afternoon. Hey, aren't you loaded yet? You know, no. And I says, I'm at this place. I've been sitting here all day. You know this. I finally got loaded. They gave me my paperwork. They wouldn't let me see the destination that was going to be on the paperwork before I would sign it. And I tried arguing with them, but they wouldn't budge with it. I says, I had to sign for the stupid thing. Then they give me my paperwork, and it's saying I'm going to Baltimore, Maryland. And I says, and I just was in there, and I says, this lady, I says, I took a picture. I tried taking a picture of my sign-in sheet showing it, and she knew this, and that was my proof. And I said, she punched my hand, and then just started screaming at me and everything else, and said she's going to call the police. And I says, I don't know what to do here. And he goes, well, send me a picture of the bills. He goes, it probably is going to the right place. And I was a little bit angry. And I says, you know, I've been doing this for 22 years. Do you not think I know how to read a bill of lading that says destination and it's not the place where I'm going to? And I hung up the phone on him. Snapped a picture of it and sent it to him. And he sent me a picture back of some bills of loads that he's done in the past. And guess what? They were the exact same bills looking just like this. Going to the wrong place, consigned to in destination, Baltimore, Maryland. And guess what? He called me up and he's like, yeah, you're good to go. He goes, you can see, he goes, I've done this load 2 or 3 times before. He goes, John has done it. Another guy's done it. He goes, I think there's been 3 loads done. And he goes, I guess they all say that, because I looked back through and they all say the exact same thing as what you got. He goes, don't worry about that. He says it actually goes to Oak Creek, Wisconsin. And I said, so you want me to drive this with bills that say they're going to the wrong place? I said, then this is what's called a blind shipment. And I don't know. And I'm like, you have to know that. And I hung up the phone. And I was worked up. And I says, and I was just like, I typed the boss a message. And he was like, yeah. He goes, I figured it was that because I've seen the paperwork and it looks kind of weird. So I figured that's what it was. So if you knew that that wasn't going to be on there, you should have let the driver know. But here's the thing. If I take this load and I go drive into Oak Creek, Wisconsin, and I get pulled over by a DOT in Indiana, and they ask for my bills and I hand them to this, they're going to go, you picked up in Harrisonburg, Virginia, and this is going to Baltimore. This isn't the right bills. This isn't the bills for this load. It's actually illegal. You have to carry the bills that's for your load. And it has to have your destination on it. Now, when I was independent, I did a couple blind shipments. I think they're wrong. What it is some guy sitting in his house. And he goes online and he finds chicken livers. That's what I haul. And he makes an offer to buy chicken livers from some company, and it's U.S. Foods. And then he goes online and says, hey, everybody, I got chicken livers. And he finds a company in Oak Creek that says, hey, I'll take those chicken livers. And they work out a price. And then he calls up, he puts it on a load board, and the boss calls him up and says, hey, I see you got a load on there. Yeah, I can pay you this much. Okay. And so, yeah, the guy never touches anything, never does anything, but it's raising the price on stuff. It's called middleman. This country is just crazy with it. And that's why things are so expensive. But it's called a blind shipment. And I've done this in the past with when I was independent. I've hauled, it was with a guy with hauling meat out of Green Bay here. And I picked up a couple of these loads, and the guy told me, he would tell me straight out, this is a blind shipment. And I'm like, I don't know what that means. And then he described it to me. He says, don't worry about what they say where it's going to. He says, and it's like, if they say it's going to Missouri, they're going to think it's going to Missouri. Don't worry about it. And he goes, I'm going to send you another bill of lading showing where it actually goes. And I was like, okay, I didn't know what was going on. Then after I did it, I went online and tried to figure out what's a blind shipment. And basically this guy's going in the middle of it, never touching it, never doing nothing with it, and he's making money off of it. You could say it's incentive, but it's like, all that's doing is it's driving up the cost of things. But whatever. But the thing is that they've always included these bills. Because without a bill of lading showing where you're actually going, you're hauling that load illegally. And so I stopped at a Flying J, a pilot. As soon as I took off from there, I stopped at the first pilot, went in there, and they actually sell bill of ladings. They're blank bill of ladings. They're carbon copies. And I made up a fake one for myself. So I was legal when I hauled it. But I replied back to the boss because I'm going to tell you right now, John, he just made a big mistake, and he hauled a load all the way across the country, never looked at the bills, walked in there, gave the people the paperwork, and they went, this isn't us. So they ended up having to go all the way back and with this load and all this stuff. And the thing is that John has hauled this load before, and some other truck drivers here. And he was like, it's really funny because all these other truck drivers, they've hauled a load and nobody said a word to me. He goes, you're the only person that's caught this. And I'm not tooting my own horn or not. It's just I do my job. I look at this stuff. This is what you have to do. You're responsible for this. And all I have to say is it's a blind shipment. We should have been notified of it. We should have had a fake bill of lading made to us to give to us. If he wants to haul blind shipments, we got to have these bill of ladings pre to when we go pick up the loads. Or, hey, stop at a place and buy a bill of lading and fill it out. Because a lot of these guys are not going to know what this is. And so if they get pulled over and they don't have the right bills, that's a problem. So yeah, I was a little bit worked up about the whole situation. And the thing is I've been stressed about other things, and then this went off. that lady, she punched me a good one in my hand. I'm telling you what, it was sore all day yesterday. But it's all fine. But yeah, I kind of after that, I kind of took a day or so and I just contemplated and stuff. And it's like, you know, I've been getting worked up about a lot of stuff. I've actually been kind of an upset person. I've been the person I don't like for a little bit while. I was talking to Tracy and stuff, and I was complaining to her about the things that were going on, and I was going off. And the next morning, I sent her a message. As soon as she was getting up, I sent her a message. I said, "Good morning," and I said, "I apologize for going off. It seems like I've been thinking about it. I have been complaining and everything for a while now, and I'm sorry about that. And I just have to let go and let some stress go, you know." And she was all like, "Oh no, that's, you know, being together, that's what that's about." And I'm like, "Yeah, but I don't want to be that person. You know, I used to be on edge and worked up, and I don't want to be that person anymore. I've changed my life around, and I've, you know, gotten debt free and gotten rid of a lot of stress to be happier and stuff. And now it seems like I'm letting things stress me out. So I just need to chill." That's what the moral of the story, I think, is. So yeah, so that's what all happened. We'll see what happens with this big land thing up here. See what happens in the future. If I do finally find the person who bought it and I can make them an offer, I'm telling you guys, the possibilities with this is just amazing. It would be crazy. But yeah, I don't know if it's gonna happen or not. We'll see. But I'm gonna let you guys go. I'm on my second pickup of 4 that I have to do this morning, and then I'll be heading off to Oak Creek, and I'm gonna meet Jose down there, and then I guess I'm grabbing his empty trailer, and I will be heading up to Greenwood, and that's up towards Tracy. So I don't know when that load picks up or what. I don't know. Maybe I'll be heading up to tonight or something and actually get to hang out with her for something. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see what goes on. I was telling her about it, that I'm heading up that way, and she's like, "We need to see each other." And I'm like, I know. It's harsh. It's hard being going out with somebody that's a truck driver, especially being over the road. But she's sticking with it. She's all right with it. I know a lot of people are concerned about that. She's gotten emails about it. I've gotten emails about it. People are all like, "You can't have a relationship." Well, you know, a lot of truck drivers are married and go through this, and you know what it is. It takes strong people to make it through that. And she's been good with it and stuff, so it's all good there. So I'm going to let you guys go. And I'm going to say, if you're not having a great day, you can always try that over again tomorrow. Right? Right. Because that's what I had to do. I was having a little bit too much stress, and I had to chill out and relax. Got me a little bit of sleep. I'm better. So I'll catch you guys later.